Good afternoon. It is hoodie weather in central Indiana, and I hear later on it might be boot weather by the middle of the week. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Like a nice snowball fight myself. Well, I was thinking about this, and I'm thinking out loud during this video, so if I throw out an opinion or a thought, hopefully won't hurt your feelings, but maybe cause you to consider the idea I'm throwing out there. That's usually how I start when I try to understand the heart of God better, as I try to go at an idea and start asking questions about it and then move forward from there. So the idea that struck me today combines a couple different verses. In the Gospels, Jesus was talking to those who had believed in him, and he said to them, "You shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free." And it already said that they had believed in him, so he's not talking about the truth for salvation. I think what he's talking about there is the truth for living a life that's more abundant, so that there are lies or things we thought were true that constrain us from living more freely. And those things can look in a lot of different ways. I was up in Amish territory, and there's a lot of brothers and sisters in Christ who are riding in horse and buggies today because of beliefs that they have, and that may or may not be the truth of a belief system. I don't know. I have opinions, but they don't really change the world. But there's things I've believed before that were not true. And when I've believed those things that weren't true, they caused me to think other things that weren't true. And they kind of did a domino effect in my psyche, causing me to have a lot of doubts, a lot of fears, a lot of anxieties, a lot of guilt, a lot of things that weren't true to begin with. And I spent brain time on those lies because I didn't know the truth. Is that a good preface? Can you understand that thought process? And so if the truth will set you free, maybe lacking the truth will put you in bondage, and quite possibly maybe false ideas that you think are true could add to anxiety and guilt and things like that. Does that make sense? So the lies of anxiety and guilt could bind you up and make you less abundant in your way of living. So then, with that backdrop of the truth will set you free, think about this verse. I think it's in Philippians 4. It says, "Be anxious for nothing, but in all things, by prayer and supplication," like begging prayers, "let your requests be made to God, be known to God." And then it says this, "and the peace of God will guide your hearts and souls," or something like that. It's been a while since I've had that thing memorized. Your hearts and minds, I think is what it said. So the peace of God will guard your hearts and minds as you let your requests of those anxious thoughts be known to God. Here's the idea I want to throw out to you. You ready? He says, "Be anxious for nothing." Paul says this to the believers. Be anxious for nothing. Is it possible that anxiety is a choice of your will? He says, be anxious for nothing, as though that's a possible outcome. And he says, be anxious for nothing, but make your request be made known to God. I'm just throwing that out there to you because I've survived a number of bouts of depression and anxiety in my life. And when I look back on those things, I think almost every single one of them, maybe it's actually bold enough to say every single one of them were the result of me believing a lie. That's the truth of my situation. And I know my example doesn't replicate everybody out there, but my guess is the more truth that each of us know, the less anxiety our lives will find in them. And Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. So today I want to encourage you, set your mind on Christ, get to know him more intimately, and lock in new truth today. And I have a feeling your days are going to stack up and be more enjoyable day after day after day. That's all I got for you. I hope you have a great one. I'll see you soon.